Because when we hear you say, I flowed an enormous amount of energy towards something, we want to say to you, that's probably why it's taking so long. And what we mean by that is, most of you, when you say flow energy, you mean I gave it a lot of attention.
Right.
And most of you gave it attention from a place of resistance. So most of that attention that you were giving it wasn't making much happen. When a person says, I really want more money, in most cases the way they came to that conclusion was from not having enough money, from knowing the discomfort of not having enough money. So the whole time they're saying, I want more money, what their vibration is saying is, I haven't been enjoying this not enough money. So even though they're using words, positive words, want money, their vibration is still that uncomfortable feeling of not having it. When we liked the way you put that, when you said, if I just tell the universe once what I want, is that enough? And we say, you've been telling the universe what you want every day of your life. Every time you thrill at something, you're saying, I like this. Every time you stand in the window and see something beautiful and it thrills you and you say, ooh, the universe hears that. Every time you laugh or applaud, or you see what we're getting at, you've been telling the universe what you want all along. And so now as you are saying, yeah, bring me these good things, and my work is to hold myself in a vibrational place that will allow those good things, then all is well. We want to give you a little enhancement to that placemat process. The placemat process is this. It is the most powerful process that we've offered. It takes about 5 minutes a day. Take a large piece of paper, draw a line down the center of the page, and on the left side is a heading, write action things that I'm working on. On the right side, as a heading, write things I would like the universe to work on. Now, treat your side just like you would a things to do today list. On the universe's side, write anything you want that for whatever reason you're not ready to take action on. You notice that whenever you say I want something, you are brought startlingly to the awareness of where you stand relative to it. And so the difference between where you are and where you want to be is illuminated. We see many things on your list day after day that you are not doing. We think they are on the wrong list. Remember, your list is only for those things you are ready to take action on. That relief is the releasing of resistance. Now we're going to give you a sort of augmentation of this process. Sit with a notebook and set aside about 30 minutes to do this the first time. After that, you can maintain it on about 5 minutes a day. Make a list of everything you want or need, whether it's what you want to do, whether it's what you want to have, whether it's something you need to do, whether it's something you need to have. In other words, just make a list. Esther wrote things on it from Persian rug to coffee table to remember to order the fax paper. In other words, everything from paper clips to world peace was on her list. She wrote about 8 pages, and once she began writing, ideas just kept coming. And the more she wrote, the more it came, but the more it came, the more her level of resistance was coming. In other words, all that stuff to do, all that stuff left undone. In other words, she could just feel it became a heavier and heavier process. And finally, after about 30 minutes, she bogged down, and we said, that is enough. Then we said to Esther, now, take a highlighting, one of those magic markers that you use to underline your books. And we said, go through it line by line and ask yourself the question on each item, is this something that I want to or need to tend to today? Well, there were things that she had no choice about. It was the 15th. She had to make the withholding payment to the bank for the employee taxes and so on. And so she highlighted that, and there was a telephone call that she had been guilty about not returning. She highlighted that. In other words, the need tos sort of stood out most. And then there were a few things that she really wanted to do, and so she ended up highlighting 7 or 8 items out of these 7 or 8 pages. Then we said to Esther, now, these highlighted items, make a statement. I will do my best to achieve these today. And then look at all other items in sort of one fell swoop and say, universe, work on these for me, will you please? Universe, work on these. I'll get back to them later. Universe, I'm releasing all other things to you. Now, Esther felt relief in doing that. In other words, and what had actually taken place was she had, in that process, fulfilled the prerequisites for deliberate creating. You've heard us say, want it and allow it, and it is. Well, now in more blunt physical terms, we're saying want it and don't resist it, and it is. So she wanted it, she identified it, and then she released her resistance about it by saying, I will do this, this, and this. Universe, take care of the other things. Now, what she began to notice was that while she was busy doing her 7 or 8 items in between telephone consultations and all of the normal things that weren't on the list, like brush her teeth and eat lunch, the universe was tending to other things without her even knowing it. Several months earlier, they had gone to a kitchen design center to have a kitchen designed, and the woman on the job quit 3 days later, and so no kitchen was ever designed, but they still had their $500 deposit. And so Esther had called and asked them to return it months ago, and it had not come, and every time they would drive past the place, Esther would say, oh, that's right, I need to call them, they owe us $500. And that was one of the items that was on her list that she had released to the universe, and that check came 3 days later. In other words, people that she'd intended to called the office, and it got resolved. In other words, Esther starts getting messages. And what Esther began to notice was, with her darker marker, which was the marker she uses that means this is complete, the universe was dealing with things faster than she was. In other words, she was doing her best through her action to tend to them, but many of the things that she had not given any more thought to, just that one time, universe, take care of this. We talked to a woman not long ago. She said, Abraham, I've been doing this process for 6 weeks. She said, it is like magic. She said, last night I counted 7 major things that have already come about, things I've wanted for years. We said, can you hear what you're saying? I've wanted them for years. It is only recently I have wanted with no resistance. Now, this is something you just have to feel your way to, you see. Some things you have more resistance about than others. So what is happening to you as you say, I'm feeling better and better, that means you have less and less resistance, which means those things that you have been telling the universe from the day of your birth that you wanted are coming into place. We said to Esther to get her attention about this, the universe is an enormous staff. You are not utilizing us as much as you could. To delegate to unseen forces and to trust that they know what you mean and that they will do what you say. And we say, they won't do what you say. They do what you vibrate. And you've got to start figuring out what you're offering.